Hello everyone, Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Chasing the Impossible, just in case you missed it. That's right, this is the segment where we replay some of our vintage Chasing the Impossible interviews for a lot of you who figured, I didn't get to catch that one, or maybe I'd like to see it again. So here's your opportunity. Every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, we replay one of those vintage episodes, just in case you missed it. And as always, our segments are brought to you by IK Multimedia. And most importantly, if you love the content you see here, please hit me with a like or subscribe to the channel. This lets me get the most updated content to you as soon as it's available. Now today's replay is a really great one about a local legend here in Charlotte, North Carolina. A 62-year-old ex-banker who has a hook shot that's out of this world. When you see him shoot, it's amazing. It's like watching LeBron James from the foul line making shot after shot after shot. And he's changed his life by taking that hook shot and helping out youngsters across the country, across the world for that matter. I think you'll enjoy his story of how he inspires the youth with his hook shot at 62. Please sit back and relax and enjoy the story of Hookshot Charlie. Hello everyone, Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Chasing the Impossible. This is the segment where I interview special guests who happen to have accomplished seemingly impossible things in their journey on their life. We want to let you know that whatever dream you're chasing, whatever seems to be your impossible, you can get yours too. You can get there. Don't give up. And if you like the content you see here, please hit us with a like or subscribe on the channel. This lets us get the most updated content to you as soon as it's available. Also, all of our segments are powered by IK Multimedia and Lewitt Microphones. Most importantly, if you really enjoy what you see here, share it with a friend. We want to make sure that everybody leaves uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. We want to make sure that you can chase your impossible too. Now today, my special guest is kind of a local celebrity here in North Carolina. He's been doing something that we call the hook shot for years now, and he's at 62 years old. And he's traveled around the world with this particular hook shot and used it as a ministry to help out the youth of today, to teach people about life and integrity and character and hard work. He's lived a life that's had some hills and valleys, but he's turned it around and made sure that he could tell people that even though he went through quite a bit, he returned back to his passion, and so can you. Now, will you guys please help me welcome my incredible special guest, Mr. Hookshot Charlie. Charlie, you there, man?
Man, I'm here. It is great to be here. Great to be here, man.
There he is. There he is, man. Good to see you, brother. How you been?
Man, I've been fantastic. It's been I'm riding this unbelievable ride, Derek. It's been awesome, man.
Are you staying safe, away from COVID, washing hands, all that?
Man, I'm following all those rules and just trying to respect other people. It's not so much myself, but it is respecting other people in their space and, washing my hands, staying the distance and trying not to go too many places where there are a lot of people. But man, I'm loving it.
And this thing isn't going away yet, man. So we just got to take care of each other. We got to look out for each other. And, I know a lot of my folks are staying in too. My wife and I work from home, so we don't really go out all that much. We just we go to the grocery store, we come back. We get something to eat, we come back. We kind of stay close,
But Derek, this has been a blessing for me in so many ways, man. It has given me an opportunity to learn more about myself, to just do some, some internal stuff that I don't know if I would have done if I wouldn't have been shut down. Because usually I'm on the move 24/7 every day. So this has been a blessing in so many ways. Done more reading than I've ever done. Done more, just thinking about people and about life. And so it's been beautiful, man. I hate to say it in this time. It's not looked at as a good time, but it has been a good time.
I think that a lot of people that have gone through this and people that have walked through this terrible space, we know there's a two-sided thing here. On one side, it's terrible for so many who've lost their lives and lost loved ones and have lost jobs. And I mean, it's destroyed a lot of our economy, all those things that have happened with COVID for sure. But on the flip side, there's a whole other side where people have learned to get along. You've had to stay home and get some rest. You've had to, they're like my wife and I, we've had to stay home. It kept us off the road. We were spending more time together. It created some different ways for me to be more creative because I was home to be able to create more. So there's a double-edged sword to this thing, and you don't want to take away from the negative, but there is a lot of positive that's happened too. So I'm with you 100%. I'm with you.
Yes.
So knowing that, let's kind of go into a little bit of your story, because I mean, when I first heard about you from John, I thought, man, this guy has lived a life that people need to hear about, and that it would encourage others. For me to hear at 62, what are you, 62 or 63 now? How old are you now?
62, be 63 this weekend.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday early, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So you've been showing people for years, man, that that kindness, hard work, dedication, it really is the way to kind of to change people's lives, is live your life that way. Why do you think your story resonates to many people? Why do you think it just resonates to so many?
I truly think it resonates because I've always remembered, you can tell people all day how much you care about them, but until you show them, and you show it in a way that is loving and that you're real, that I think people can identify with you. And the thing about being real is that I'm learning as I go along, sharing my life with people. And man, it's been like, I'm just as excited than I've ever been to share my life with people. Before I was so private. I didn't want anybody to know about my life. I didn't want nobody to get in my business, and I stayed out of their business. So I think what it is just that I feel the need to love, and I'm not afraid of that anymore. Before I was, you only love certain people, you only are affectionate towards certain people. Now God has opened up the windows of heaven in a way for me that I want to be in everybody, and I want everybody to experience that thing.
Such a blessing, man. Such a blessing to hear it that way, and as I lead into talking about Hookshot Charlie, wow, that's been a title. It's been something that's kind of become you. When did you perfect that hook shot? Was basketball always the passion, or did you dream of going pro? How did that come about in your life?
Well, basketball has always been a passion, and it has been something that has always been in my life. There's been three things that it seem like it's always been in my life. That's in basketball, that's been music, and that's been family. And, you know, and I got to throw food in there too, because I love to eat. Basketball has been that thing that has gave me a way to relate to people. It has given me a way to not be as shy, brought some things out in me that, you know, that I don't know if I would have done it if it wouldn't have been for basketball. But as far as professional, I always thought that would be a given. I never thought about it. I just knew that I wanted to do that for my life, you know, because I knew it was something that it was the highest level. It was something that you could, you know, give all that you had and get rewarded from going to the highest level of the game.
Did you want to go pro as a kid?
I did. I wanted to. I just thought it would happen. I felt like if you follow the rules, you worked hard, and you played the game like I knew I could play it. I never thought I wouldn't. You know, I never thought I wouldn't. But now that I look back, I can see why I didn't. And it was only because I was afraid. I was afraid of the being that successful, and also afraid of what would I do if I got there, you know, and that's why when I was speaking earlier, I was talking about how this COVID thing has done. It let me look at that too inside, you know, of me and why I didn't do certain things, and to be honest with myself. And, you know, I was afraid of success and I was afraid of failure, because both of those things would put me out, expose me, and I didn't want to be exposed. I didn't want to be out on a platform. I didn't want to be out there by myself. That's why I love the game, is that I played on a team, and it kept me, you know, it kept me from being the shining star, you know, that I was afraid to be that.
Isn't it interesting that that's what you didn't want to do, was be by yourself and in the spotlight in a platform, but that's exactly where you landed with that same skill and passion. God took you out of a team effort, and now you're Hookshot Charlie. It's all about your ministry, and it's just you in the middle. There is no team. So exactly what you didn't want to do, he circled back around, and that's where you ended up to begin with. Interesting.
Yeah. And that's where I knew God played into my life, and the fact that, and I had to keep processing this over and over. That was what I didn't want. But God showed me, you're not yours anymore. You are mine. And when something belongs to someone else, they get to do what they want with it. And so God started putting me in places that I know I couldn't have gone, or I wouldn't have had the courage to do it. But when he put me in places around people, you know, I would say, God, you got to do this one, because I don't know what to do. And it was almost like, you know, he says, this is what you want. This is who I am. You go and be about it, and I'll be with you through it all. And so that's what gets me in certain places and with certain people. I can feel like I'm thriving because I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of what it may feel like, what it may look like. I'm excited because I say, God, we're going to do this thing, whatever it is, you know, so I'm excited about it all there.
I love the passion. Love the passion. So let me take a couple steps back to kind of reframe how you started, because you, as a young man, went to Wingate College, I understand, in North Carolina, and you're one of the very few African Americans there at the time, and you excelled in your studies, you know, but you went on to work in banking and acquiring, you know, mergers, acquisitions, the whole nine, and through 23 years you worked there. What did you learn about success from that chapter of your life? What did you learn about that space?
First of all, going to the university, it wasn't anything that I had planned to do, but I knew I wanted to play basketball. I knew education would be something that would be something good, but that's at the same time, that was my secondary thing. My first thing was playing basketball. And going to that school, I didn't really even know that school existed, but the reason I ended up because of the junior college. And I went to a junior college hoping to transfer to a 4-year school, and that 4-year school being the University of North Carolina. And I didn't share that with anybody, but that's the only place I wanted to go. But I just didn't know the path to get there. I felt like just play basketball and you'll get there. I didn't get an offer from any of those schools, but I got some smaller offers from some smaller schools. But in the back of my mind, I said, no, I want to go to University of North Carolina. And at the same time, you know, I got coached by friend of mine that went to the University of North Carolina. And so I started learning the North Carolina system. So I just felt like I would go there. And so I ended up at Wingate University. And then as I dominantly private white school, I didn't think I would be in that situation. But as I went along in my life and I started doing things, I felt myself trying to fade back into the background again, still a young adult. And, I just wasn't one to try to get out there, wanted to be out there, wanted to get to that place, but I wasn't willing to put myself out there to do it.
But you went into banking though, right? You dove into a whole other career.
And that's because of my responsibilities. Because once I got out of school, I got married. And once I got married, I had to say, okay, now basketball, you got a family now. And so now you got to take care of your family. Basketball's on the back burner. So I ended up getting into banking 6 months. I said I would stay in there 6 months and I would move on. But I ended up getting into banking when First Union started merging with all these banks. And it just started booming. It was growing like crazy. That was in 85, 86. And then I stayed with First Union. Then I went from First Union. Then I said I would leave First Union, but I ended up merging and going to Wachovia, then with Wells Fargo. So that was, and, I got a chance to do a lot of things, got a chance to travel, got a chance to meet a lot of people. And so before you know it, here's 20 some years. And, and I had to be responsible to my family. That's what was most important. And one thing I have to share is that my family was always number one in my life, always. But Derek, it may sound strange, but God showed me that your family can't be number one. I have to be number one. And I thought that was kind of, it sounds strange, but that's a good thing. But until God becomes number one in your family, then everything else is out of order. And once I placed God first in my life, it was trials and there was some tribulations, but I could see how God was leading my life, and I was letting him lead my life in a way that I had never before.
When you were working for the bank and growing up and having the family, becoming that quote unquote successful African-American black man, did you feel successful as you were moving through this chapter? Did you feel like, hey, I made it? Even though basketball was on the burner, you had worked to a great position. You at least established some level of success that the world would say. Did you feel successful at that point?
I didn't feel so much as success as I did happiness, because if you ever get a chance to meet my children, that was where I felt the happiest. And no matter what I had to do, I felt successful through that. But it was the happiness that I had with them. And I love them, and I'm just as crazy about them. One thing I said I wouldn't do is I would never, no matter what happened, I would never abandon them. I would never get away from them. I didn't care what happened. So that was my first priority. So that was my success. Success was my family more than the job, because I never really wanted to be at the bank to begin with. I wanted to play basketball. But the thing is, I just, and a lot of that came from my growing up, my surroundings. I said, I'm going to always be with my family. I'm going to always take care of them, because so much of that I grew up with around. And so I knew that I was going to be there for them, come hell or high water.
And you've always been a proponent of working hard, dedication, character, integrity, and showing the kids of today how much that means. I read a story about you that you had your kids moving dirt in a summertime. Tell me about that story, how that relates to hard work and what you taught them in that space.
Oh man, I remember that. And if you heard them tell the story, you'll probably laugh more, because it was funny, but it also was a lesson I wanted them to learn. And that was going back to what you were saying about working hard. And it was hot. It was in the sun. We did it, quite a few times within that summer. Then I had my nephew, so they had their picks and their shovels. But I just wanted them to see what work was. And plus, I wanted them to be able to say, because we were building a playground where we put the basketball goal, but I wanted them to be a part of it. I wanted them to be part of the product that when it finished, they could say they had a hand in it. But also the time we spent together, Derek, I loved it, man. And when I say I loved it, we out there, we laughing, and some of them complaining, some of them this. Not gonna let us get water. I said, we didn't get a water break. But it was that, I think that was that bonding that I had with them. And every opportunity I got, I made sure that that's what I wanted to do with them is spend time with them. And, hopefully they learn something from it. But if you ever hear them tell a story, they did. And they look at me a little strange sometimes, but that's
Well, I heard that you said, well, we're just gonna move this dirt, and they didn't know why they were moving dirt at first. So you didn't tell them right out the gate. You had them
no,
moving this dirt
no.
back and forth. They're like, what? What's going on out here? And then at the end of it, of course, you showed them and you built the playground, so they were able, like you said, to say, hey, we had a part in this. But you showed them that it took hard work and dedication, and that's what
Exactly.
they saw the results at the end.
That's right. That's right. And my thing is too, I believe in hard work, and I'm a very, very loyal person. And I feel like I'll work for you, even though you may not be giving me the most money. I may not be making the most of money that I can make, but it's about loyalty. If you need my help, and you may be paying me a little bit less, but I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. I'll work for you, and I'll stay with you until the project is finished.
Good. So, fast forward through some of this, and you've got your wife, you got your kids, you work in the bank, you've established a life, but unfortunately, like you said, life happens to all of us, and here you are, 4 kids, and now you're divorced, and you leave the job at Wells Fargo in 2006, I think. And you seem to hit a wall, like an identity crisis of some sort. What was the defining moment that helped you kind of reset your direction after that brick wall?
I think the defining moment was, what did I want to do with my life? And, there was a spiritual revelation in my life when I found myself in a place. It was in a physical place. It was in a closet, and I was crying. And I'll never forget it. It was such an emotional time. I just cried out to God, and I asked Him to lead me, and that show me what I need to do. And that's when I referred back to, first I got to be first in your life, and God showed me. And I didn't get it at first, but then as I started seeing this, I had my family first, which wasn't a bad thing. But if God's not first, it's not the best thing. And so that's when I started seeing where God wanted me to be, what I had to do to give up or to sacrifice what I sacrificed. It was worth it, and I never thought I would be divorced. I never thought I would be in that situation, but I cried out to God. And, it's been the most unbelievable experience of my life. And I thank Him for everything that has happened.
Love your passion and your revelation of that. So you come out of that, you come out of the closet experience, and you figure out, okay, I've got a new direction with this, and enter your next chapter, which was Hookshot Charlie, the beginning. Can you still remember the first day that you actually got back on the court and began perfecting this amazing hook shot? What did that day feel like?
I can, and I never forget when I made the decision to leave the job. It was on a Thursday, and that Friday, I ended up at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I went and bought me a basketball. And since I wasn't working, I went and started shooting basketball that same day, and I was at UNCC. And I'll never forget that I just shot and I just shot and I just shot hours on end. And I had the whole gym to myself. There were 12 baskets. And that's when I started shooting. and let the ball hit the floor one time. And wherever it dropped, I shot at the nearest goal. I slung it. But then that's when I started shooting a hook shot. And I started not because of the hook shot, but because I was going through so much, and it was my way to relieve some of that stress, my way to get in that place where my mind was clear. And so I saw where basketball had brought me to that point, and little did I know that's what I would be doing. And I did not do it to show people I had a hook shot. I did it because that's where that was that place that I could commune with God in a way that I never have before. And hours on end. I look, and I've been in the gym 3 or 4 hours. And one thing I can say, it never solved my problem, but it gave me a peace, or it put me in a place where once I finish shooting, I can say, okay, now that's what I need to do. Okay, now I can handle it. It's just so simple. So I do remember that day, and it was just unbelievable. And I haven't looked back since.
Wow. And just as you said, so the shooting every day, coming in the court and just hitting those balls, became your therapy, your therapeutic space. It was a time where you were able to commune with God, take your time and think things through. Do you feel like had you not gone back to basketball, you would not be where you are today?
Derek, I hate to think where I would be if I hadn't, because, the thing about it, I didn't shoot to show people or whatever. That was the last thing on my mind. But I know that was for me, and that's what God had for me. Little did I know that it would be basketball. I didn't have any idea. I never really thought about it. But the more I would shoot, I felt like the closer I would get to hearing God's voice, because it was just me and him. And matter of fact, I started shooting by myself everywhere, in parks, in gyms. It was never with groups of playing games. Every now and then I played it in games with it. That was my way to say, okay, God, let's go shoot. And then when we go shoot, it was, he would just talk to me, speak to me. And who would ever thought that it would be through basketball, yeah, it's been something that it excites me even when I think about it. Even you asked me that question and gave me some excitement, chills.
I think I find it interesting that, God met you right back where your passion was from the beginning. He put that passion in you from the get-go. You always had a desire to play, and when you put that down and you lived some other parts of life, it was still there. But once you circled back around, you came back to that original passion that he put in you, and he was still right there. And you and God connected again. You guys found that direction, that's awesome. And to me, I think that's everybody who's going through something. And if they've forgotten about their passion, go back, rewind, go back and figure out where you put that down and pick that back up. God will still be there to help you, to be there for you in that space.
Oh, man. Woo, you hitting it. You hitting it on all cylinders. Plus, the thing is, you just got to be, I think you got to be willing to surrender. And once you surrender, then at that point, you can see what God has for you. But sometimes we're fighting. And one of the things I came across is forgiveness. And man, forgiveness, oh my God, when you can start to forgive in your heart, you can accept some things that the old self would never accept, would never even do, but you can accept it. When you have forgiveness, it's almost like they're trying to beat you up, and you're still saying, I love you. You're still saying, I care for you. Where before, you're ready to fight. You ain't ready to give up any of that. But the thing is, I just so much believe that when you ask and God show you what forgiveness is, and you start to practice that every day, just like I practice my hook shot, it becomes just so easy that you'll start doing it. You start seeking out ways to forgive someone because you feel that strength and you feel that commune with God.
So let's fast forward now. You are hook shot Charlie. You're shooting everywhere. People start to recognize you. They start to see you And you become a bit of a local celebrity about this hook shot because they keep saying, "Who is this dude making these shots? Is he a Harlem Globetrotter? What is this dude?" And you start meeting people from the city. You start meeting Grammy Award-winning superstars. You even hang out with the Hornet, the Blue Hornet guy from the Hornets. I mean, you've done some amazing things over time now because of this hook shot. What do you hope to accomplish now from this movement, this ministry? What do you hope to accomplish?
I hope to show people what love is about. And I want to be that example. I always said I want to be that poster child, the let people see I failed at this didn't work out, but look where I am now. Not so much physically, but look where I am spiritually. Look how God has taken me through all these ups and downs and brought me through this and that. And at one time, I didn't want to, not so much celebrities or anybody. I didn't want to meet anybody. I just wanted to be in my own area, be in my own place. But I just want this to be a platform that I can show people love. I can reach out to people. I can tell people it's going to be all right. And I want my life to be that example that no matter what you've gone through, no matter what has happened in your life, you still can come on top of this thing. And think about it, you can still enjoy it and be happy. We don't always have to be gloom and doom and, oh, woe is me. God says, he'll be with us through it all. I'm not asking him to remove it. Just give me the strength to do it. And, I just feel like that I've used the word love so much in the last 5 or 6 years of my life that I was afraid to use that word. I was afraid to tell someone I love them, may offend them, but now I just can't. I'll tell a brother now. I used to wouldn't tell a man I love him. I wouldn't tell somebody I didn't know I didn't love them. But in order for me to say I love God and say I don't love my brother or love my neighbor, that doesn't mesh. That doesn't go. It doesn't even make common sense, even if you don't know the word. So I love saying I love you. What can I do to help you? How can I help you? And I may not always be able to, but when I've met so many people that I have met, then if I can't help you, I'm pretty sure I met someone that can say, hey, I can't help you, but hey, I met this guy named John. He knows somebody, he knows someone. And so that's been the thing that I use is the connections I made. And it doesn't even have to be me doing anything. If I can get you on that course or get you where you want to go, that's what I want to do with this thing. I want to do it in a way that that it points back to the Savior and not myself. And, I feel like that when you do that, then you're not looking for someone to build you up or someone to make you this or make you that. You just do it and I move on. A lot of times when, I do a lot of basketball mentoring. And when I do it, I may meet you 2 times, 3 times, and there's no fee involved. The only thing that's involved is that if you got the time and I have the time, we meet up. And, we do it. If you can do it Tuesday, great. If you can't, great. I'm still going. And so my thing is to do it, move on to the next. It's enough work I had to be done. So, yes.
So do you feel like your daily life now, is it mentoring and teaching? I know some of the kids that you were working with at one point in time built a website for you so that people can contact you and hire you to do speaking engagements, things like that, just to encourage the youth. Is that what your day is filled up with now, just encouraging youth and being out there to help people?
It is. I had an incident yesterday when I was shooting, and it's not so that it's I have it all scheduled out and it falls in this category. I'm out shooting. I see these kids around the pond where their mother had went to take one of them to the bathroom, and I saw them going near the pond, and I didn't see her. And I said, oh man, she had driven off in the car and took one of them to somewhere to use the bathroom. And so at that time, I had to go over. Those were not my kids. I didn't know the kids or the mother. But I had to go over there because that is what I'm about, is trying to help. So I went over there and I said, hey guys, y'all need to come away from that pond. And they did. It was 3 or 4 of them. And so when their mother got back, so they were down at the park playing, and mother got back, and the mother came on and said, they told me you told, and she thanked me for that. But I knew too, there could have been a chance that, what are you doing talking to my kids? That's what the part that I do, is that it happens wherever I'm, I could be anywhere. But the thing is, if I can interject some positivity, if I can interject helping someone, I'll do it. Do with respect to who, the parents. I'm not trying to step on anybody toes anything, but I just want to say, why are you waiting for this to happen? Why are you waiting for that to happen? And I'm not waiting for, can somebody pay me to mentor them? Can somebody pay me to teach them? No, let's just do it. And I have not charged anybody for any basketball that I've shared with them, because I don't have a business for that. And I feel like, I'm trying to get with some of the big guys. Wilson Basketball sent me a basketball. Puma gave me tennis shoes. Those are the guys that I want to pay me, and I don't want to ever charge anybody for my services. And, they have the money, and but I made some connections with them. So that's who I want to sort of hook up with and be able to do what I do. And, AT&T is another one of those. I've only had one phone service, AT&T. I've been loyal to them, so I reached out to them. Hey, can I hook up with you? Lexus is another one. I reached out to Lexus. Only, I got 350,000 miles on this Lexus I got. So I'm saying, I patronize you, your business, and am I good enough to represent your product? So that's what I started doing.
Well spoken.
Yeah, reaching out to people that I've been loyal to. I don't change a lot of, if I got a company, I was Nationwide all my life, so I reached out to Nationwide. Hey, can we do something? So that's where I am for helping.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Last question, and it's been a great conversation. I feel like I'm learning a lot, and hopefully people, the subscribers that are watching, will learn a lot too. Just how genuine kindness has done so much better for you. It's crafted your whole life, and how to just be kind to that person in front of you, and care about that person in front of you without wanting something back. That's shaped your whole life. You've been able to do a lot with basketball, showing the youth today hope and courage. What do you see next for this next generation that's coming up, man? Because they got a whole new set of issues that we didn't have before. We thought our life was bad and it was different, and then my kids now, they just have a whole different perspective on how life looks. What do you think is your advice to them going forward now? How can they be better?
My advice to them is to continue to seek out the truth. And with all the technology they have, I think so much they can find out for themselves now, as far as, our history. Because I'm learning so much through this pandemic. I've learned so much about things I never knew about slavery, even though I thought I knew something about it, about our leaders. But my thing with the generation, and I start with my kids, is I just say, love them, receive them, open your heart up to them, and be able to reach out and talk to them and share with them your life. And sometimes it's hard, but I find myself sharing some things with my children. They're not children, they're young adults now, that it may hurt a little bit, but at the same time, if you want something better for them, give them the truth. Give them some of your bad stuff in your life. Not so much the bad stuff, but always trying to keep it tidy and pretty. Sometimes you got to let them know that you hurt, that you felt this way. I think that's what we need to give them, is to give them our love instead of more material things, and share with them that who your forefathers were. And some people are already doing this. I can say that my family was one of those families that shared about all the way across the line who we were and what we were. And some of us felt shame of it. But now I try to be honest, and I want to be frank. Matter of fact, I want my kids in any relationship I'm in, ask me anything. because the more I can give to people and the more I can show them my life, the closer I become with God, is because we don't do things so much for ourselves as we do for other people. And, my gray hair is that, once I came to grips with it, why are you dyeing your hair? Why are you trying to keep your head shaved? Once I really became honest with myself, I could do it in a way now that I could never do it before. And so that's what I want, to give to them is honesty, truthfulness. And
I love it.
Yeah, and it's hard, but I got to be real. I got to be real that, that those things that sometimes we think are dear to us is really the fear in us. And so I want to be more braver, if there's a word. I want to be more about what God wants from me, and let the chips fall where they may, because he'll handle the rest once I do what I'm supposed to do.
And that's a perfect way to end it, man. He'll handle the rest. You just be true to what you know God wants you to do, whatever's in your heart, whatever's He's given you as a vision, and whether it's hills and valleys, which will be for everybody, just stay true. Walk with the truth, and that will set you free, as he said. So, man, I sure do appreciate you taking a few minutes to share your story. It's again amazing to see what you've done and how you've walked through it, and giving me some courage and some that's what I'm looking for. Giving me a little bit of inspiration to do a little bit different things my way. So sure do appreciate that, man.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure, Derek. And thank you, man. And I know I truly believe that this is what's supposed to have happened. And it happened exactly when it was supposed to. And it was a pleasure meeting you.
Well, let's stay in touch there, Big Charlie, man.
We will.
Everybody out there.
We will.
We want you to share this episode with a friend. If somebody wants to be encouraged, somebody needs to be inspired, share this episode with somebody today. We should do